Welcome to 101 East. I'm Steve Chow. Across Asia, car ownership is soaring, but so too is the number of people dying on the roads. Laos, a poor mountainous nation, has one of the region's worst road fatalities per capita. In Vientiane, the capital, an ambulance service run by a French paramedic and his band of volunteers is the only hope for crash survivors. This week, Drew Ambrose travels to Laos, where speeding, poor law enforcement, and drunk driving are fueling this growing crisis.
A motorcyclist has been hit by a truck on the outskirts of Vientiane. The driver fled the scene, leaving the man to die from massive head injuries. An emergency team called Vientiane Rescue is here to pick up the body and take it to a temple for burial. They're led by French paramedic Sébastien Perret, who says they can face up to 50 fatalities a month. And just as graphic as this.
Oh yeah, sometimes worse.
The dead man's bike stands unscathed. So too the helmet that could have saved his life.
He didn't wear it. They just take the helmet with them in the basket, and when they come close to the police station they wear, and then they remove it. And if he had a helmet, yeah, he would be alive.
Lined with trees and grand old architecture, Vientiane's boulevards haven't changed much since this nation was a French colony. This is peak hour in Vientiane, and compared with other Asian capitals like Beijing, Jakarta, Manila or Bangkok, it's not nearly as chaotic or crowded. With the economy in Laos booming, more people can afford bikes and cars than ever before. And they drive those vehicles at breakneck speeds, down long straight roads with few traffic lights or roundabouts to slow them down. The death toll from road accidents in Laos increased by 26% in just the last year.
There's no will to change anything here. So that's the biggest problem. Nobody cares.
When night falls, the accidents pile up, so Vientiane Rescue is on standby. Last year this team saved more than 2,000 people on the roads. And when the alarm sounds, they hit the streets. We've joined these guys on a Friday night because it's the busiest night of the week. Most people in Vientiane are out and about. The majority of the accidents they attend involve motorbikes. This man sped down a gravel road without any street lights. He was toppled by a concrete block in the middle of the road. The night is non-stop, identifying injuries, bandaging wounds, dealing with broken bones and the distressed.
So another motorbike accident, no helmets and head injury. It's very common here, like maybe 80% of the time. She was riding a motorbike and she was hurt by a pickup truck. She had a helmet, so for that part that was okay. It looks like her hips were broken. helping a lot to save people.
Sebastian gained his medical skills in Paris as a paramedic. He set up Vientiane Rescue in 2010 after witnessing a terrible accident near the main hospital.
It was a bloodbath. One of them was dead already, and the other one was very, very seriously injured, and he was unconscious. I knew at this time that there were no emergency service, but we are very close to the hospital, so I was expecting, some ambulance or doctors coming outside of the hospital to come to pick up the body and give people the instructions to be careful. But no, nothing.
Only 1 in 5 drivers in this city has a licence. It's a frightening thought as we hurtle through the traffic.
I think we're lucky and we have a good sirens, because in 4 years we never had a crash. But maybe we're lucky.
What does the driver have to watch out for?
Everything, because there are cars coming the wrong way, there's not much light, and there are so many people drunk. But we are making a lot of noise, so I think it's part of the safety, I hope.
I hope too.
The majority of accident victims can't afford medical care. Vientiane Rescue takes them to hospital free of charge, but the service itself is strapped for cash.
We managed to run the service for almost $2,000 a month. But the point is that if tomorrow we have an accident and we lose one of our cars, it's going to be forever. We're going to lose it and we're not going to be able to buy a new one.
Because you're uninsured?
We are not insured, and the second thing is that we can't maintain the car. Last time we had an accident because the brake ripped.
Vientiane Rescue work from a small office in the shadow of Tat Luang, the capital's grandest landmark. Staffed by volunteers and existing only on private donations, it's a battle to survive. Sebastian tells me the service saves money wherever they can.
So this is the basic equipment we have. So we have our bandages that we use and reuse. Usually it's supposed to be disposable, but this kind of bandages, it's like $2. And we use this a lot, so...
So how many times do you have to use a bandage again and again?
As soon as it's usable, it's fine. So we also have a cervical collar. So this is to immobilize. It's very dirty as well, but it's made of plastic, so we try to wash it, but it's supposed to be disposable.
But one of the main challenges that you have is hygiene, because you're in... Yeah,
that's hygiene, yeah.
Recently, 2 second-hand ambulances from Japan were donated to the service.
Tell us the story about this ambulance.
The problem is that everything is written in Japanese, so I had to ask some friends to come to give us the translation. And as you can see, also the wheel is on the opposite side. And it's funny because the guy who came for the translation used to be a rescue guy in Japan. And he saw the car and he was like, oh, you have to be very careful because if you take a curve too fast, you can just roll over.
So when you got this given to you, they just dropped it off and said, good luck with it?
Yeah. But we're happy, it's a vehicle that we can use, and this kind of ambulance, if we had to buy it, would have cost like $20,000. And we got it for free, so that's good.
But when we drop off the injured, we find the hospital's own ambulances sitting unused. They're provided for free by foreign donors, but hospitals charge patients to use them.
What do they do?
Transfers, and they can pick you at home if you're sick, and especially if you have money, because it's a paying service. So they have brand new ambulances donated by Japan, Korea, private companies.
Does that frustrate you?
Sure, yeah, look at this one. It's like $80,000. For what? Transfers from people who has money? What about the others?
In most provinces around Laos, people die from preventable injuries by the roadside because there are no ambulances to rescue them. Even hospitals here often struggle to take care of patients. One evening, a local hospital calls Sebastian's team to ask for help with a car accident victim. The man is choking on his own blood. The team clear his airway with a rubber tube. Then they transport him to another hospital.
When someone has a very serious crash and the family is able to pay for the care, they go to Thailand, they don't stay here. So I think, yeah, maybe there's some troubles with the healthcare system here.
Laos is an authoritarian one-party state. The government declined our request for an interview. But we were given access to the ICU of Vientiane's main hospital that handles most accidents.
I think that 2 people here with head injury.
The deputy director says despite rising road fatalities, they don't have enough qualified staff to help accident victims.
All the hospitals, they don't have enough human resources who are specializing in dealing with this situation, like a head injury. The whole country referring to our hospital. We cannot provide the service to all people because we need more specialists, need more equipment. We have only 2 head injury surgeons. Sometimes we need more for operation.
So you've only got 2 head surgeons in this hospital or in all of Laos?
Yeah, in all of Laos we have 2 surgeons that dealing with head injury for operation.
This hospital received 1,000 crash victims in the last month alone. But many road fatalities in Laos remain unreported, as those who die on roads are sent straight to a temple for burial.
Based on what you see here in this hospital, do you think the government statistics of road accidents are accurate?
It's not very, because if patient dies, sometimes they did not bring to hospital. In other countries, when the car accident, even patient die in the scene, they bring to hospital for statistics. But in Laos, cannot say that accurate, because we'll miss a lot of cases.
When Sebastian started Vientiane Rescue, he only had 4 volunteers. Today, there's 90.
It's amazing, like in 4 years what we managed to do, it's a miracle. It's raining, it's cold, it's hot. They're always here, they don't care about themselves, they don't care to be dirty, covered by blood. They don't even think about disease. So yeah, this motivation is what makes us what we are.
Every week they practice resuscitation and other first aid.
Not everyone who applies to volunteer here makes the grade. We have to ask them questions like, are you afraid of blood? We assure them there's nothing to fear. Patients have blood, and you have blood. We teach them that a person's life is often on the line. So you have to be serious. They should not be here because they think it's cool.
Sengphet Von has volunteered for 2 years. When it comes to driving ambulances, he's a top gun.
You have to have heart. Most Lao people say having heart means passion, respect, a love of helping people. We often don't have time to rest, but everything comes from the heart. It keeps us going.
Like many volunteers, Sengphet Von has a day job, and it keeps him on his toes. He is a Kung Fu instructor. He says it's a profession that helps with the long nights driving the ambulance.
Kung Fu helps me focus on my health, and it gives me strength. It keeps my energy up. We often carry heavy loads when rescuing people. Kung Fu and exercise makes me ready for that. Some volunteers have careers and businesses, but most are students, which is good, because most of the accidents we see these days are caused by students.
19-year-old Soy Intamanivong also volunteers here.
Our office is just a small room, so we have to rest out here at night. There's not enough space for our volunteers, so we sleep in these tents and use them to change into our uniforms.
Soy and many other volunteers are still at school.
To volunteer here, teenagers need permission from their school and parents. My parents often worry about me, so I get health checkups to show them all the night shifts have no side effects.
I ask her how she handles such traumatic events night after night.
I'm not afraid. When I see them, my heart sinks because I feel sorry for them. My empathy comes first when I see them. I think I have to help them. I have to help them.
Last year, Soy was called to an accident and found the unconscious victim was one of her close friends. He'd been returning from a party when he was thrown from his car after hitting an electricity pole.
I thought he was a regular Joe, like other cases. But when I saw his face, I didn't know what to do. His face was normal, but his stomach was really badly injured. I tried to revive him, but in the end, I couldn't.
It's not just speed and no helmets creating a high death toll across Laos. Drink driving is the biggest cause of accidents. According to the World Health Organization, this country is the second biggest consumer of alcohol in Southeast Asia. Today, Soy and Sebastian are treating two men who were riding a motorbike drunk when it hit a parked car. One has a broken leg. When they reach the hospital, the other man loses consciousness.
70 to 80% of the guy we pick up on the road, they're totally drunk like this. So it's very difficult to know if the guy lost consciousness because of the head trauma or just because he's totally drunk. Yeah. So that's a bit complicated for the medical staff.
On the weekend, many people drink to excess from the early afternoon, and then they drive home. Sebastian says there are few deterrents to stop them.
You know, if you're drunk, if you don't have a license, if you don't wear a helmet, if you get catched by the police, you're not gonna go to jail. So there is no consequences, actually.
But some do pay a heavy price. Adsong Khan used to go drinking after work at a logging site and then drive home drunk. But one day his luck ran out. His flatbed truck ran off a steep hill and rolled over. When he woke up in hospital, both his legs were missing.
I regret it like nothing else. It was hard when they told me my legs couldn't be reattached. We used to drink and drive because the roads were in good condition. Many had that attitude. I was never afraid until I had the accident. People think when they're drunk it's not bad because they're conscious and aware. But now, this is my life forever. I'll never get my legs back.
Many accident victims don't get a second chance. But Adsong can walk again with the help of prosthetic legs, provided by an organisation called COPE. He now works there, building artificial limbs.
After the accident, my life was flipped on its head. In the past, I was farming and supporting my family. After the accident, I thought I would spend the rest of my days in a wheelchair. I didn't think someone without their legs could ever walk again. I wanted to die. But when I got these legs at COPE, my heart wanted to move forward and fight.
For years, COPE has been helping landmine victims from America's bombing campaign in Laos during the Vietnam War. But the group's CEO, Bunlang Paypon, says the biggest demand for prosthetic legs is no longer from landmines. It's from road accident victims.
There's a rising number of car accidents here, but no one talks about it. There are organisations that deal with the road accidents, but no one, be it journalists or other sectors, comes to talk about it, like they do with landmines. Awareness about wearing helmets is improving, and more people are surviving bad injuries after a crash, but helmets don't protect legs.
Lieutenant Colonel Kamlek Zayasith commands the country's entire police traffic division. He says police have breathalyzers, but they don't work.
When an accident happens, we prove someone is driving drunk by interrogation, the smell or behavior. We are lucky. Most Lao people tell the truth when we ask them if they are drunk.
Most of his officers in Vientiane just observe accidents and direct traffic.
The laws exist to prosecute bad driving, but it's hard to enforce them. We need to re-educate people so they understand traffic laws, particularly outside the city. But compared with most countries, we don't have money or resources. We don't have equipment for emergencies where people could die.
Back at Vientiane Rescue's base, the team is training with old hydraulic equipment to learn how to save people trapped in cars. It's a tool the police don't have at their disposal. Using an old car wreck, Sebastian puts his rescuers through their paces.
So
Seth, how are they going at the moment?
Good. It's good. You just need to be a bit more careful when they manipulate the victim, but it's fine for the moment. There were only 5 of our team that was trained to do this, so that's an opportunity for us to train 5 more.
As awareness of the service grows, the number of emergency calls they get is increasing. Sebastian wants his volunteers to learn new skills so they can set up specialist rescue teams. Today, a dive team from Thailand is helping Vientiane Rescue with a new endeavour.
Actually, they're giving him 2 equipment for scuba diving.
So what difference does that make?
It doubles our equipment. And actually, when you're looking for a dead body, 2 is not enough. You need at least maybe 8, 10. But it's already very nice for us. 4 equipment, so it's perfect.
These trainees want to become the country's first scuba rescue team. Today, they're receiving basic training.
Normally, the whole course should take like 6 days. It's just one morning for us, so it's especially about safety and how to use the equipment, and maybe a bit later how to grab a body and bring it to the... It's never enough. I'm sure it's better than before, but we want to get to international standards. For us and for the victim, we have to try to be better.
A few days after the training, the team is called out to the Mekong River, which runs through Vientiane. A fisherman's boat has sunk. The currents are too strong to retrieve it. No one needs rescuing, but it's a good opportunity to use their new skills and show the city's residents that you can call them in any crisis.
We are more than a rescue service. We try to bring people hope. When there is trouble in Vientiane, when the family doesn't know what to do, they just call us because they trust us. And that's the most important in our team. Much more than money, equipment, training, it's the trust that we have among the population.
Every day, 4 people die in traffic accidents across this tiny nation. While authorities struggle for solutions, the road fatality rate rises every year. Crash after crash, night after night. Vientiane Rescue keep picking up the pieces. With little funding and a whole lot of heart, they're the saviours of the street.